Alrighty everyone, we are just days away from the release of the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 7, which by the way is labeled as the season finale of the show before Jon and Dave Filoni are really going to be focusing on the Ahsoka Tano series, the Mandalorian Season 3 and 4, as well as other TV shows that they're really going to be able to produce further after the Book of Boba Fett comes to a close. Now, obviously, based on how the season finale is going to be perceived by the fans and the fan reception, that's going to be the ultimate decision between Disney and Lucasfilm on whether or not they want to greenlight a Season 2 for Boba Fett, which, by the way, is currently in negotiations as we speak. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01. If you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there, I do post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really make sure to interact with you guys further. So, what's really all the more exciting now is that, yes, we have shows on the horizon such as Ahsoka, Kenobi, Andor, and all of these new unannounced ones that will be unveiled at Star Wars Celebration. Now, I've said this time and time again, Celebration this year, without a doubt, is going to be the best celebration under Disney's wing. And I think the reason behind all of this is the fact that we're going to have George, Jon, and Dave joining the stage with Bob Chapek and announcing all of these new projects, you know, be it new TV shows, whether it's live action or animated, or new Star Wars lore in the forms of books, novels, and comics, new movie announcements. I mean, there's just so much that's going to be unveiled this May, and hopefully that celebration does not get canceled. So on top of all of this, alright, what's really exciting has everything to do with what's been going on with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau with what they did in Chapter 6 by bringing back Luke Skywalker. However, Kathleen Kennedy seems to be having a lot of problems behind the scenes about everything related to Luke Skywalker's return, and it's really not that big of a surprise. So, on top of this, with Kathleen Kennedy currently having more issues with the Acolyte TV show when it involves the storyline and trying to stay on schedule to begin filming by this April, both Leslie Headland and Kennedy are also getting ready to use the Acolyte as a way to retcon Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. However, it's described that Kathleen Kennedy has been having tons of issues with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau over their use of Luke Skywalker and how it's creating an obvious, vivid comparison between her poor version of Luke and their version of the character that is considered superior to the fans. Now, it's described that Kathleen Kennedy wants Filoni fired from directing and or writing any further material, at least within the Star Wars world in the mandoverse, and has been trying to convince Disney to go ahead and do all of this as soon as possible. Kathleen Kennedy's problem is that she believes that Filoni is overusing Luke Skywalker in the mandoverse, and that it is going to inadvertently weaken the Star Wars franchise permanently if he keeps up with inserting characters like Luke Skywalker in an unrelated Star Wars series. So, I want you guys to take that in for a second. Alright, so Kathleen Kennedy's, reason as to why she's having a lot of problems with Filoni's use of Luke is that he's using too much of Luke. That he's using way too much of Skywalker in Chapter 6 of Mando, or should I say of Book of Boba, because, let's face it, Book of Boba feels more like The Mandalorian 2.5 at this point. When you look at everything related to Kennedy, she also prevented Luke Skywalker from appearing in Mando Season 1. We talked about this about a month ago, that Jon and Dave had so many extensive plans to have Luke come in Season 1 to really kind of introduce the character, prematurely, to kind of set things up even more so for Season 2. And that kind of had a massive lag because Kathleen Kennedy would not allow it to happen in Season 1. Mind you, back in 2019, when Season 1 was being filmed, that's when Kathleen Kennedy still had creative power. It wasn't until early 2020, when Season 2 was being filmed, that Kennedy lost her creative power over pretty much any virtual Star Wars TV show in the Mandoverse and everything Star Wars, except for the Acolyte TV series. Now, the thing about all of this, obviously, is that Kathleen Kennedy does have a problem with Dave Filoni and Jon and their use of Luke. Now, beyond that, alright, this is where things begin to pick up, is that Kennedy is described to have issues with the fact that Luke Skywalker took all the limelight from the Book of Boba Fett character, of course, Boba Fett, and the other characters introduced, such as Drash and her biker gang. It's described that Kennedy believes that Filoni is being irresponsible with using Luke Skywalker in such a weak way in the Book of Boba. Kennedy believes it is glorified fan service that is soulless and wants to convince Disney to rid of Filoni from future mandoverse projects. This is something, however, that Disney is refusing to do by Kathleen Kennedy's demands. Given that Kennedy is still president, she still has no creative power over the Book of Boba or any other mandoverse project or any other Star Wars show, except for the Acolyte. One thing that Kennedy did have a meeting about with Disney's higher-ups had to do with Filoni overusing cameos with Favreau on The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba. In her belief, it is mindless material being thrown to the fans, and she believes it is weakening the Star Wars brand at heart. However, Filoni and Favreau are doing this to set up the expansive universe that is going to be so large, not just with TV shows, but also with new movies as well. Kathleen Kennedy also wants Filoni to stop using Grogu so much. Kennedy believes that both Filoni and Favreau are overusing Grogu, and it is also taking over the entirety of the Star Wars brand. I don't know about you guys, but I'm all fine and okay with Grogu. I think it's a very interesting character. It's a character that is going to be stretching across the entire Star Wars timeline. I mean, this is a character that's pretty much going to be in store for the next 900 years plus in the Star Wars world, at least. And it really does open up a lot of possibilities. Do I believe that every single Star Wars project has to feature Grogu? No. But keeping him as a significant character just as big as Yoda? Yes, definitely move forward with that. You know, I kind of like that. And it's all about new characters, and I think that Grogu is the one character that's brand new, along with Din Djarin, that really fit into the lore perfectly. And I think it's why Din Djarin, at least in my opinion, to a lot of fans as well, is that Din Djarin seems more like a beloved character already than Boba Fett. There's something about Boba Fett, I will be honest with you guys, when the helmet is off and when he's more personable, it's like a different character. I can't explain it. I'll get into that a little bit later, but I kind of really am favoring Din Djarin now over Boba Fett because of how well, you know, he's written, of how they keep that mystery behind the helmet a little bit more, and they keep him helmetless, you know, pretty much at a limit. So on top of this, all right, this is where things begin to actually pick up a little bit more so, is that in Kennedy's belief, Luke Skywalker takes the limelight away from all the other characters such as Boba Fett or Din Djarin, and Kennedy is actually fearing that it would take the limelight away from her new Acolyte characters based in the High Republic era of Star Wars, which is why she canceled that vision sequence that was going to feature Luke in this series. So we talked about this just yesterday of how there was an extensive Luke and Anakin Skywalker scene planned for the Ahsoka series, or the Acolyte series, I should say, and it was going to be in the form of a vision, and she deleted that from the script. She took it out, and it was a scene that was agreed upon between both George and Kathleen Kennedy. And once again, she backstabbed George Lucas again. You know, it's not a big surprise after all. We've seen her do this countless times from 2013 until 2019, and now she's doing it again. I mean, it's really not a big surprise, to tell you guys the truth, but everything ranging from Dave and John, they are on point, and I don't care what Kathleen Kennedy believes in, I don't care what she tries to do, or what she's trying to convince Disney to do. Disney is refusing to do any of her demands, and they are pretty much keeping their foot on the floor and saying that this is the step in the right direction, and I'm proud of that. So overall, guys, I would like to hear what you all have to say about all this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.